Hey friends, Ernie here with the Trader of Futures. Today, a new day, a new week. It is Monday, September.
Hey friends, Ernie here with the Trader of Futures.
Oh boy.
Today, a new day, a new week. It is Monday, September.
Is that it?
With the Trader of Futures.
Oh boy. That happens every once in a while. I've got so many windows open and, go through them. What do you know? You can't be perfect in this biz. If I were not recording live, then everything would be fixed behind the scenes and no one would know all the faux pas. But live radio, that's where it's at. All right. So today is a very special day. Today's the day that we talk about the big secret. The biggest secret of all. The biggest secret in trading that eludes so many people. Even people that win, it eludes them as well. Not all of them, most of them. There is in fact a secret to trading that will ensure that you will have the best possible chance for winning. There's actually more than one secret, but there's what I would call I wouldn't even call it the Holy Grail. It's the Holy Grail, kind of the ultimate. We're looking for like the penultimate because we don't know what the ultimate is. No one's ever found the ultimate secret in winning at trading, ever, at winning at anything. That is kind of like a path that you go on. There's no destination. It's just a journey. It's kind of like the Buddhist eightfold path towards enlightenment. Sure, someday you become a Buddha along that path if you find enlightenment, but even then, it's not the end of the journey. I'm trying to think of how that kind of fits in with trading, but trading is, in the words of a mentor, one of my mentors, trading is the hardest way to make easy money. And so you got to think about that a little bit. What does that mean? It means that if you put the work into it, if you have a methodology that is proven, if you understand the statistical ramifications, you have a process, a system where you understand and can create new strategies, that you're adaptive and fluid with the market. If you could wrap that all up into a process, then you would in fact have a secret or the secret to successful trading. Now, I'm not blowing this off. There is, in my view, what I would call the Holy Grail to trading. And it's kind of a framework. And it involves a few tenets that kind of give it some structure. And there are also different methodologies. People can go for the big numbers approach. There is statistical certainty in large number of occurrences. Or they could go with the superior knowledge approach. Actually, and both of those approaches can be intertwined and intermingled as separate strategies. But that is part of what is the biggest secret, and that's strategies. But not just having a good strategy. Having a good strategy, there's a limiting factor to being good at something. That you're only good enough until the good enough or the good no longer works, or if someone or something better comes along. Being good at something is impermanent, and it requires a great deal of work to maintain that kind of level and attitude. There is no one thing that you can do. I mean, there are methods and tenets that you can strive towards. Like I said, there's a path you can go down. And it's really a matter of knowing what that path is. I guess in a lot of ways, it is very much like the Buddhist path, the Eightfold Path. I could find analogies for that. Maybe someday I'll do that. I'll coin something, the Eightfold Path to trading, the Buddhist way of trading. But it's true. See, the thing is, to go down a path, you need some kind of reconciliation. You need some kind of periodicity to it. You need some way to be able to measure and do a retrospective of yourself on a periodic basis. I mean, that's so important. If you don't do that, then you can never set a baseline or figure out, where you are and whether or not you're doing the right thing. So that's the first thing. That's ultra important. So you have to have a period, like an OODA loop. Look up OODA loop, OODA. It's also very much like an agile process. Look up agile process or the Scrum process. It's a loop where there are certain activities and roles and ceremonies that you perform. One of the most important ones being the retrospective. And so that's, ultra important in not only trading, but just about anything that you do. In a way, this methodology could be a more generic framework to being successful at anything. And that is to have a periodic activity, or set of activities that you do. You do the same thing over and over. You do it within some sort of time-framed box. You perform certain activities, take on certain roles, and then at the end of that, you do a retrospective so that you can learn from what you did and then carry that on to the next instance of this loop. So in the big picture, that is the way to become successful at anything, is to keep at it, do things over and over, look back at what you did, figure what you did right, what you did wrong, adjust. Machine learning is kind of like that. I mean, the basics behind machine learning is essentially that you try something, you analyze it, you adjust, left, right, forward, backward, up, down, whatever it takes. Yes, no. And you break everything down into these small little chunks, and you just keep on chunking and chunking and chunking away at it. So that's big picture, even though I'm talking about little, doing something repetitively. The other important thing is that you have to have some kind of tenet, some kind of philosophy behind everything that you do. Something has to be more important than the other. Both are important, but I favor this over that. And in trading, this is maybe a little bit antithetical to the way some people think. And that is that most people think, well, then you should be concentrating on making profit, right? And the answer to that is no. No, you shouldn't be concentrating on making profit. Although that is important, What's more important, though, is figuring out how to keep what you have, to preserve your capital. So within this big OODA loop, the big thing that you're doing is you always want to have a stair-step kind of approach. And the only way to have steps that you go from one level to the next is that you have to have a step that you can stand on, something that's solid, that's firm, that is yours, that is established, that is your capital. So the most important thing is to preserve your capital. When you make something, you generate profit, you create a new hypothesis, a new skill. You want to establish it and keep it and maintain it, preserve it, and then make profit. And one of the reasons for this is that you don't know when you're going to be able to make profit. It's unknowable. In fact, going back to what a lot of people think about trading, they think that that you can actually create or generate a regular income from trading. And this is a completely wrong notion. I'm not aware of anybody that can create income off of trading, day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. It just doesn't happen. The market is too volatile, too fluid to allow that. I mean, there's no way that you can apply any number of strategies to generate, some sort of consistency out of it. It's not possible. So what happens is that we're in this wait and see mode and put ourselves in the right position and waiting for those wins. And when we get them, we take them. Some of them are going to be big, some are small, some are gargantuan. And so what ends up happening over a long period of time is that there will be, in the course of, say, a year, a certain number of months, a small number of months that will basically make your whole year. And then the rest of the time you're skating, you're preserving capital, you're hunkering down, putting yourself into the position so that you can make those big profits. Because you don't know when it's going to come, how it's going to come, under what conditions. You might have some great strategies that work, but you don't know that you're ever going to have the kind of perfect scenario that it will really catch and drive. So because of that, here's the other part of this secret. The secret is sort of multifaceted, by the way. Besides preserving capital first and making profit second, besides having this overall framework that is a time-boxed OODA loop with a retrospective that you learn from and then move on, within that, there is the realization that the world, like the Buddhist says, is impermanent. It's changing all the time. And as a matter of fact, that is the one thing, the one constant. That's kind of ironic there, right? The one constant that you can rely on is that there will be constant change. And so you need to develop an approach. Well, how do you develop an approach to something like that? How do I make money off of that? How do I, approach that? What do I do? I mean, do I just apply this strategy and just churn it? No. The answer is that there is no way to create one strategy that fits all. And even within the context of generating a strategy, one that's robust, there are rules and other guidelines that you should be following in terms of the number of configurable points that you would adjust in order to make that strategy work. In the context of any single strategy, technical analysis is not a strategy. An idea of the way the market works, or the way some aspect of the market works, and identifying an anomaly or something that nobody else has identified, or maybe something a lot of people have identified, but you've figured out a way to actually profit from it. that idea is the basis of all strategies. And then technical analysis can be used to kind of model, when that idea comes to fruition. The idea that you can just take technical analysis and throw it at it without any kind of concept of what you're trying to go after doesn't make any sense. That is empty. So you need every strategy in of itself should have some kind of hypothesis, some fundamentals behind it, and then technicals to kind of guide you to execute it, execute the idea, execute the edge that you found. The other important thing is being able to define what that edge is, from a statistical point of view, from a quantitative point of view. I think that's important. But more important than just that strategy is that that one strategy will only handle certain striations of the market. And there is multitude of striations. There's infinite number of striations in the market. So how does one strategy go in there and do that? It doesn't. So what you need is multiple strategies, multiple different strategies that are uncorrelated with each other, that approach the market in many different ways so that you can create this. Now here's another concept, another idea that you try to emulate, and it's emulating something of a human system, and that is creating a system that is anti-fragile. And it's one of the reasons why I tell people that there are certain books that I think that you need to read. There are 3 books in particular, all by the same author, Nassim Taleb. One is the Black Swan, which describes systems that are that the way advances happen in human history and economies and lives, they happen in huge spurts. And then the rest of the time we're just sort of puttering along. These spurts are called black swans. That's the first book, Black Swan, Understand the Theory of Black Swan. The second is that there are systems that are created in life, in organic systems and people in particular, and virtually all life has found a way to kind of adapt through this process of homeostasis. They've developed an anti-fragile stance to the world, and that means anti-fragile means these are systems that gain from disorder or gain from stress. You need to develop a system that actually works better under stress, that it becomes stronger under stress. That's anti-fragile. And then the third aspect of all of this is that you need to understand this random nature of things. There are patterns within that randomness. There are, and that's true. I mean, you could take, the white noise and find patterns within the white noise, even though that sounds like it's a mismatch. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for ways that you can take the randomness, what most people think is an efficient market system, that there is sufficiently large number of events that are happening that it's essentially a perfect white noise, but it's not. There are cracks and valleys, chasms. It's not a smooth piece of glass with just infinite number of things. There's so many of them that it just, there's no penetration. There are ways to find edges and opportunities. The problem is that from a statistical point of view, a lot of times we misread these things. And the only way to really adjust yourself and understand that is to gain an understanding of randomness. And that's why that third book I recommend is also by Nassim Taleb, called Fooled by Randomness. Now, there is a most recent book that he has written that easily fits into this compendium of books that I think rounds it all out, and it's called Skin in the Game. Without skin in the game, without investment in your intellect and your will and physical investment, you're going to have the wrong attitude to approaching the markets. So skin in the game is another very important aspect. These are kind of like the philosophies around the secret. So go through it again. You need this systematic way of trading, an OODA loop with a retrospective, continuous improvement process. You need to have tenets and that kind of guide everything that you do. Big picture, capital preservation first, profit second. You need a philosophy that kind of guides everything that you do, and all your different strategies and tactics have to be consistent with this overall philosophy that I define by these 4 things. It's Black Swan, anti-fragile, randomness, skin in the game. And trading, now then there's another, I said that there were basically 2 attitudes that you could go into this. One is that you could look at it from, because there's no way to know when you're going to be into a perfect situation where everything melds and you make a big win. You have to trade small. Otherwise, if you commit too early, then you potentially risk going broke, hitting the wall, getting a margin call, whatever. So your position sizing should be small. Lots of strategies, small positions, and then scale in. I call this a modified martingale way of trading. A pure martingale would be untenable, but a modified martingale where you tranche your positions and you scale into positions if they're going your way, or if the hypothesis stays valid, and then you can add to that. That way you can never fully commit to something. Even if you were wrong and you don't fully commit, it's not a big deal, and you can sleep at night. It's another important aspect to the secret of trading. See, this secret is, like I said, multifaceted, multi-dimensional, philosophical tenets that that guide your actions. And like my mentor said, it's the hardest way to make easy money. Learning a system like this and putting it together is hard. It's hard work. It's a lot of work and a lot of learning. But once you get it down, the application of it and making money is not that hard. And that still doesn't protect you from all the other things that can happen in life that can just flatten you. But this constant droning and effort and will to survive and keep on going and following these philosophies is what is the secret to making money, to being successful. Never giving up. I mean, in order to make this whole thing going, you've got to have a big crank. You just crank that thing. Keep on cranking. All right. So hopefully this has resonated with you. Makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. But this, in fact, in my view, is the secret to success. And regardless of what we're talking about, when I talk about even in trading, multiple non-correlated strategies have taken from a wide range of different things. It's the same way even in life and jobs and deriving income. The most successful people in the world, that's what they do. They create multiple streams of income, very different from one another, so that they're not correlated, so that in the event that the economy gets hit or they lose one of those streams, the others can take their place, and constantly developing these new streams of opportunities. That's what wealthy, successful people do. And so it kind of falls down right into the trading paradigm. So that's it. That is, and we probably didn't think I was going to just tell you the secret. The thing is, the secret's good with me, because even though telling it out there, explicitly what it is there are so few people that could actually develop a system like that, or even care to put the time and effort into it, that the secret's still good. Even exposing that secret directly and throwing it in their face, they still will not get it because they think they know better. It's the way the world works, the way the world has always worked. All right, there you go. We are 30 minutes into this. Hopefully you gained something from this. I'm going to quickly take a look at the comments and then go from there. I'm trying to get the AI system out and so you can subscribe to it. But I'm having a little trouble with Amazon right now. There was an unrelated thing to my merchant account that has caused all my accounts to be locked down, which is really Amazon's fault. And I'm trying to get a hold of support with them, and it's a very difficult thing. In this particular area of responsibility, they don't have direct phone support. They only have mail support. And so I'm beholden and waiting for them to contact me. And they have, and then I contact them, and then you're waiting again. It's really frustrating. Truth Clown says, this is way too serious for a Monday night. Sorry about that. Let's be real, Ernie. All we want to know is if Bitcoin is going to the moon. Well, okay, I'll just say it. No, at least not now, and perhaps not in the near future. Maybe in the far future, maybe in some future, distant future it is. Ernie, do all the thinking for brown eye FFS stink eye? Man, I don't understand that at all. Preservation of wealth is key. Well, it is one of the keys. Preservation of wealth and actually concentrating on building wealth. I mean, there's a whole nother aspect to trading that I didn't even talk about. And that is, coming up with some, and this has more to do with your overall income and income producing strategies that you have, and then how you treat that cash flow with your wealth building. Those are two different things. Let's do a vote. Who thinks Ernie is stoned? Who thinks he normally babbles on like this normally? I hope that didn't sound like babbling. Not stoned, but maybe medicated. Nope. You'd be surprised that I really hardly ever get high. I don't drink, don't smoke, and try not to take medications. More into just using my mind. I love this philosophy. Good fundamentals for a proper mindset. Thank you, Cassio. TA, throw it out the window. Rely on volume profile and fundamentals, and then your own intuition. Well, that's another case where I say, there are some people will call volume profile a technical, right? You got to weigh things. What's the proper context of technical analysis and volume profile and all those things, and then use them appropriately. Throw the wife out the window, says a bundle. Not in my case. If I didn't have my wife, I often say that, I wouldn't have a family, and I'd probably have a Porsche, and I'd probably be living in that Porsche. Tethered some Bitcoin into gold and silver around 70. Yeah, whatever. Some are here to learn, Ernie. Others are here not to. Appreciate all the insight. Well, thank you. Yeah, trade small is very good advice. I agree with that. Hi, sorry, I'm doing a show right now. Is there something important? Oh, okay. Well, I'll be done soon. Bye. Skip. scale in, lots of strategies, trade small. Your money can go a lot quicker than it comes. And, you know, I'll be putting, I have diagrams actually that I can share with you that kind of outline a lot of this stuff. And this whole idea, this secret, is going to be in the book that I'm writing. I trade on the 15-minute chart, setting session, volume profile, moving averages, RSI, trend. Really not rocket science. Good luck to you, Ofox. You really have no idea what you're talking about. Ernie, did you check Revolut banking thing? Revolut, I don't know what we're talking about there, Mr. Stream. Oh, I think I do. No, I didn't. I did not. Sorry. Yep. That's right, Brett. Living in the Porsche. That's what I would be doing. It would be tight. Maybe I'd get one of those Porsche Cayennes or something. That's what I would be doing. All right, guys. That's all I've got to say for today. I want to thank you very much. I want you to hit that like button, share this video. And now that you know the secret of trading, which happens to be basically the secret of everything else in life, go to it. Get busy. See you next video. Report back.